something that came through with regression. That was one of the big things that I wanted to understand was what was my purpose here. And thankfully, I had some really great validation because I didn't know who Dolores Cannon was, or, I haven't met Patty then. In my first regression, I learned about the volunteers and, all this about Earth being a school and everything that we're doing here. And then have it later come through as seeing Dolores Cannon's work and working with you, it's truly a beautiful thing and a great validation.
I really enjoyed working with you in both sessions. That's
Uh,
why that's why we needed to have this chat, this talk, because so many people may been feeling down, feeling lonely, and some of them that I met, they become suicidal. But once they have this clarity, not the same clarity that you have, but each one has a unique journey, unique experience. Everything it becomes so light, so bright. Knowing the reason, the divine reason why we are here. We are here to evolve further. We are here to be of service to mankind. It's just so important for us to know why and how. And that's what you've been experiencing. Now you know why, you know how. And very simple, just be you. And in the meantime, you get to have more experiencing, more contact, experience it with your soul families. And let's talk more about that. I'm sure people would like to hear about your phenomenal ET experiences after these sessions you already had.
okay, so after this, all my regressions and stuff like that, I knew I was there. Um, I knew that my contact was real. I had a you know, understanding of what I was experiencing. So before the third regression I had with you, um, days leading up to that, I had many experiences like I always do. Anytime before something very powerful in my life is going to happen, I'll receive downloads and teachings. So let's talk about my fully awake experience with them.
I would love to hear that. Thank you.
So I had an intuitive, you know, or a telepathic message knowing that this was going to happen and that I was to come outside and that they would be there. Originally, I went outside and, I was recording on my phone because I recorded a lot of my experiences. And when I was recording on the phone, I started seeing the beings in the capture. And I was also seeing them visually. And when you're interacting with them in this way, the body naturally reacts. And that's something you truly have to, be able to get out of. You have to be able to adjust to their vibration and frequency. Because if you let the body just react, it's going to cast you right into, fight mode, and you're in fear. And we can't learn in fear. So when I
We,
originally
we block ourselves.
so when I originally went out there, I started, seeing them, and I instantly went into that flight or fight. So I ran back inside. But when I went back inside, I was sitting there, and I was, oh man, it's crazy. And then I started calming myself down, and I said, okay, they're not bad. If they were bad, they could hurt me. If they wanted to, they could. And then I said, okay, my mantis being's out there. I said, if that being's out there, then I know I'm safe. So I took a deep breath. I said, okay, let's go out there again. But this time I didn't take my phone. I just went out there because I thought maybe if I took my phone or try to record them, I wouldn't have the full experience. So I go out there with them and I'm adjusting to their vibration because it is overwhelming at first when you're, experiencing this. And as I'm starting to adjust to it, trying to keep the body from reacting, breathing, just, you know, trying to, just really adjust. then more start, I would say, phasing in, becoming more visible. And then when I was looking around, there were multiple beings there. I think if you just want to say a rough number, 30, 50 or more.
What did that look like?
Uh they they all look different. There's a variety, such a variety of races out there. Uh like the mantis. They they tend to look like a praying mantis that we would, see here as an insect on Earth. Um they're Then you have the grays. A lot of people, have a lot of fear of these beings because, they don't have a lot of like facial, emotions like we smile. You don't really see these beings smile. And, they have those big eyes. And, so a lot of people just, once you move past that, we don't know what, they should look like, we might look scary to them.
Right.
So once I moved past about how they looked, that's when they started to show themselves to me more. Once I started to ask, hey, and that's something important when you're interacting with them. Ask them questions, ask why you're experiencing. You don't have to go find other people to ask them. And so I'm out there asking them questions. And it's strange because there's, multiple beings out there, but your thoughts, they all know, every one of them, because it's telepathic. And even when you're receiving the telepathic message, you know which one it's coming from. And, you know, I know a lot of people see many types of beings. Uh, I've never actually seen one you would consider to be more human looking like ourselves. I've always seen the grays, the more frightening ones, if you would want to call them that. But it's when you're having these experiences with them, they want you to ask them things.
What did you ask them?
Uh, One of the things I asked them, during this experience was if they could upgrade my eyes. I know that sounds strange, but if they could upgrade my eyes so that I could see them better, because I told them I didn't fear them. I wanted to see them, and I had these messages to, what would I want? Is there anything that I would want? And there was nothing monetary or financial or anything to do with you know stuff like that, material stuff. uh that's what I asked for. I asked them if they would upgrade my eyes so I could see them better, because I wanted to remember more of my experiences.
And what happened?
Well, I started feeling these beings touching me, and so the body starts reacting then again. And you could feel them energetically touching you. Sometimes it feel like you're getting static electricity, little shocks. And so I'm keeping my body from reacting, trying to stay calm. And so I just close my eyes, and then I start seeing these spirals of light come down on me. And I start feeling as if they were unlocking something inside me, unlocking my DNA, if you would want to understand it like that. And I just knew that I was being raised, up, onto a craft. Well, that part was wrong because when I opened my eyes, I was still standing outside with them. But during the experiences, it was a upgrade, if you would, for a better word, activation. And ever since then, I see them in my day to day life. If they're waving at me, I just wave back. Uh, you don't always. It's not like if, and this is something I really had to learn with this. Is sometimes you need to step away from it. Just take a step back from it. You don't have to worry. They're not going to leave you. They're not, if they're giving you a teaching or something that you're supposed to be learning and you don't get it, they'll repeat the teaching. It's not, but sometimes you just need to, you know, let time give you the answers, patience. And this is very important too for those who are, seeking to have a better contact with their beings.
A question for you. You talk about there were at least 30 beings, and you named two, Mantis and Gray. Do you remember any other beings on any other races that you saw as well?
Um, and what's hard about that is I don't really. Sometimes I would ask them, do you have a name? Since they're all very telepathic and it's thought to thought. They don't really have a need for names and stuff like that. Now they do sometimes, but I a lot of times I don't try to label the beings themselves as okay, it's this race or that race because maybe I don't know. I know that
Did you recognize the other two because they look, one look gray, one look mantis, and the rest of them they're just like beings, but so many of them.
well, I would say that there's so many types of grays
Right, right.
that might cover 20 or 30 of them right there. Um, and not all mantis beings look the same either. So it's a you're like say like just like the reptilians. There's multiple types of them.
Mhm. The good
Uh,
and it depends, right?
so, but one thing I've have learned that it's always these same beings. It's just it's so you're able to have that kind of connection that like with the mantis beings.
My download said you, the one that been assigned to come to protect you, they're your entourage. They're here to protect you and to receive the information as you are the conduit to help them, to help others.
Well, so originally when I was 32, like you touched on it earlier, when people are having these experiences, there's not a lot of help for people like that. Um, I know my family and peers told me I was crazy, um, that I needed help, and all these things, and it got to the point that I didn't want to be here. I wanted to check out, and it got to the point so bad that it was it was very close. I was surrendering. I just couldn't. I wanted my experiences to stop. I didn't want to do it at the time. And that's when they intervened in my life because I was, close to failing my mission. So they're always there protecting us and watching over us. Um, and because some of us are coming, incarnating on earth and we don't have any idea what it's like. Some people in, beings that volunteer, we don't know what it's like. Say the first wave that were laid all this foundation. They had a really, I mean, way worse than me.
The third one is the one that Lucky
Oh man,
how to be here. They
they
are
are.
patient. They just bring light.
Yeah,
I got it made.
they come in at the high vibrations.
Uh-huh.
So but that even makes you happy knowing that it worked.
I came across so many of them. Yes, some ready to check out, and then they realize that they need to achieve the goal. They have to complete the mission, and once they learn about their divine power, it's all about love to
That's it.
love and overflow it to others. And most of them just say, "Oh, I can never be sad again." They just come to terms with their divine truth, except one person. I don't think I could save her because she did not come to see me for herself that her husband made her, and she rebelled, and
Well,
I knew that she did not. She wanted to rebel, and she did not want to stay. So I don't know what happened to her, but I can sense that. I can sense different in each one after we finish the session, what kind of um decision that they that ready to make. Yeah, so we would like to really send this out to let people know that there are hope, there are help out there to help you find your truth within. And there are so many other non-human races that so passionate to help us. Not everybody would have the gift that you have, the experience that you get to have, but it's so important for them to know that, that all things are possible, and things that we do not know that exist, it doesn't mean they don't exist. That's why your story is important, to show people where you were and where you are now, right?
uh,
Very,
and
very high vibration.
and that's one thing I love about my experience is that I had to experience the bad. And if I didn't experience the bad, I would have never, you know, found the
Yeah.
love.
Uh-huh.
But when you talk about these other people, right, or anybody that, yeah, we want to awaken everybody we can, anybody,
Yes,
but
everybody,
it's free will,
but
and
we do respect free will. Not everybody want to be helped, right?
they
But
want to experience and
we want to
more.
let people know that they are helped if you want it.
Uh, Even my beings, if I didn't want to do my mission, or if I didn't want to have experiences anymore, it's my free will to say no and stop it. And there's no judgment.
Mhm.
These people don't judge me if I don't want to do it.
But you choose to do it because you are helping yourself to evolve further.
Well,
Right?
um,
You can
I, I
evolve further.
I chose to do it because I want to help others with it.
This is
You
how
know,
we evolve when we are able to be of service to mankind willingly, right? Compassionately. That's where you are right now. This is how we evolve back to God, to love, to source. All of us came from the same source. And in order to evolve back, right, we need to raise the vibration, and we need to carry on whatever mission we came in to do and finish it. There's no judgment. But once we know what we can do, why would we want to do it?
I took on a hard task when I came, so um, I'm glad that, and a lot of people that are led towards their mission, it's because you're meant to be led towards your mission.
Yes.
It's not by chance you know or anything like that. It's
I want to mention something. Yes, it's not by chance, right? This is the synchronicity that we have planned and came here to do with all the help. And in the meantime, yes, free will, you don't have to finish it, right? You can say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. But in the meantime, I feel like if we know the reason behind the reason why we are here and what we can do, I'm sure that everybody would want to step up, raise a vibration, and be of service to others the way you've been doing.
uh it's a and people say, well, is there money in this? Well, that's the money. When you help and you bring other people up into the higher dimensions, that's the payment, because you feel it. You feel the love and the vibration, and we all get there. uh and that's with people's own choices and free will, but we all get there.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Shortcut,
neg
long cut. It's up to us.
so even say, with uh the new earth. There are people that are in new earth, in that vibration, that dimension, and then you have people in old earth that are still in that vibration. And somebody like me, I go back, say, to the old earth to try to bring people into the higher dimension. And it's hard to explain that, in a vague way, but you're helping people cross. Because
The
if
bridge.
they've never felt the vibration of energy or any of this stuff, that you can't understand it. And that's one thing I had to learn. Uh, if people haven't had experiences, they can't understand. Yeah, they can't understand it, unfortunately.
They have nothing to compare.
Yeah. And their conditioned mind, it just, I know, even for me, when my paradigm was shifting, uh man, I was still holding on to it. I didn't want to let go of, because it was a complete reset of everything I knew. And it's tough.
That's important for you to mention that to people. You have to let go and start a new reset. You have to eliminate all the old energies, negative energies, old bad habits that do not serve us well anymore. You have to let them all go, learn, and move on, and recreate brand new reality that we all deserve. It's all about love.
And that's something that the new earth is. When you get there, you'll actually see that you are creating your reality.
Mhm.
Your thoughts equal your creation.
Mhm.
And ooh, vibration. But you actually, it's you you are having the, and that's what this whole thing was. This whole plan is, it's supposed to be that way. We're supposed to be able to create our realities.
Yes, we are the creator of our own reality, of our own world, right? Like you said, through the thought.
That's it. And but there were at one time, and this is why the volunteers and stuff came, because there was maybe a race of beings that were influencing humanity in a way that took us away from that. But thankfully, they're no longer amongst us. So
So let's talk more about your life right now. You have shifted your consciousness, you shifted the paradigm to be where you want to be, where you need to be. Let's talk about that. What would you like to share to the audience of this new reality that you have been creating ever since the last two sessions and the other sessions?
I think it's important to share that we all experience it different. Somebody like myself, I experience it in a lot of ways, but there are some others that they never see a being or a UFO or anything like that ever, but they still have that same connection as I do with them, because it's an intuitive knowing. And so there's a lot of different ways to experience it. I just got the whole shebang, if you want to call it that.
I know, right?
And after every experience I have, I send the intent, and I send my love and thanks, and for all of what I experience. And I'm constantly still learning. It's it's not like, okay, you reach a point that there's nothing left to learn or be taught. Um, once you go through the whys, and then you go through the what's, what it is, so then you're asking about, well, how does it work? Or one thing I was, you know, wanting to understand is, I wanted to ask them, well, what do y'all eat? So my interaction at this time is, I'm learning about them more in a deeper way. I have a lot of, I want to understand what they do. Uh, how, like, because it's oftentimes you don't ever see them actually walk. This is something I learned here recently. is that they phase. They're able to just be in one spot and just like a big blur, or you can see a streak of them moving, like a streak behind them, and then they're just right there. And that gave me an answer to when I was a young child and I would see them looking in the room and then blink and they was right next to you. So, at this point in my experiences, I'm really understanding what and how. I know the whys. So it's important for me, to try to learn as much as I can so that way I can share it. Uh and it's let me share this. So one of my favorite experiences is orbs. Uh and I was sitting outside thinking, oh man, I'll never, have that experience again because, I didn't move past it. That I see them as them now and not just, orbs of light. And I was like, just not really upset or, sad about it, but just like, man, that's because somebody just told me about a experience with orbs they had. And I was like, I'm, thankful they did, but, I enjoy them so much. And then this is how truly, wonderful these beings are. They actually that night came down as orbs. And I've never, I didn't ask them or anything, but that's how in touch they are with us. And they don't have to, it doesn't have to be your conscious day to day life. I mean, they're with your higher self. So your higher self is communicating with them at all times. So they know what's best for you. And that's even when they're showing you things, that's why. Because they know what you can handle, what you should see or experience.
This is wonderful. I'm so glad that you're so willing to share this experience with others. I'm sure that this will be another step that helpful for others to open themselves up to see things from the perspective that you are showing them. And they can move forward. They can remove the fear. They can allow things to flow into whatever it is that they get to experience through the free will. And when we find that within us to know that we are not alone, we have all the help with the soul group. Yours, you name a field. Some may be different races, maybe different beings from different planet, or just the divine essence that we came in with. And we have guides, we have help all the time. And it's very important for people to know that. Do not be afraid of others who have your best interest in mind. Just allow yourself to experience more and have a good discernment about what happened, what it happened, how it happened, and get the most use of that. And for you, it's so cute how you ask them to upgrade your eyes. And now you are clairvoyance. You get to see them. And I'm sure that being clairvoyance now, you get to see things beyond the five senses now. Have you been experiencing anything after the upgrade of the eye?
Uh, yeah. I see through the veil every day of my life now. Um, I see interdimensional beings every day. Uh, like I said, when I see them, it's in my normal day life. Originally it was really unsettling because I would ask people, I would, be looking at them. I said, "Do you see them?" And the person standing right next to me couldn't see a being that was waving at me
Mm-hmm.
because they wasn't meant to see it. They wasn't ready to see it yet. So I had to learn that, yes, this is something that I am seeing that others can't. So, you have to come to terms with that too.
Mhm.
Um, especially, you know, um, seeing them in the clouds, seeing them in the trees, or, just seeing them just every day. A lot of times I just, I'm so thankful and I wave at them. If they, they're waving, I wave back. But
Just enjoy the contact.
no, it. So positive beings,
Right.
because there's there's some easy ways to understand if they're, you know positive and negative.
Yes. That's why I just want people to understand what you just said. Just enjoy, when you have this gift, you know, you enjoying it. You don't want to miss it. You would like to experience more and you will grow more. You will see more, learn more.
Uh, okay, so say when I'm sitting outside in the evenings, and you're seeing these interdimensional beings or through the veil, I'm just there with them.
Mhm.
If I'm listening to music or sitting there, I mean, they're just there. It's not like, they're bothering me, or no, they're just there.
Yeah, I just want to let other people know that these things do exist. Do not be afraid and do not let others who suppress you make you feel like you're crazy, you're seeing things. This is real.
Well, luckily, in my experiences, that I was able to capture some, you know, enough images and videos that it didn't matter what anybody said. And you don't even need images and videos. If you're having these experiences, they're real.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter, and a lot of my life, I tried to deny it. I would blame it on alcohol or drug use or anything, anything to say it's, not real.
But we were told that these things do not exist, but they do exist.
Or we're told they're demons.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I
But,
mean, they're there.
but you
If you,
know, if you experience that they are not.
if well, and that's one thing about the good and the bad ones. The negative beings, they want you awake. It's, a lot of poltergeist activity. They give you imagery and thoughts that are, not very nice, more disturbing natured kind. But positive beings, if you have fear, or if you don't want to, I asked them at one time, I didn't want them in my home anymore. That if they wanted to have interactions with me, to give me a message, and I would go outside, because I was a little uncomfortable with having, a portal in my house, and stuff like that, because you don't know what could come through the portal. It's not just them, spirits or anything. So, I was a little uncomfortable because I didn't want that around my family yet. Um, so I just asked them not to be in my home, and they respected it. I've Ever since then, I've never seen one inside my home. So if you ask these positive beings, things that, for help, or, would they respect you, like I did? If they do, then they're positive.
And
Um,
on the other hand, if we experience some negative situation, we have to remember we have free will.
if
If you don't give permission, right?
Yeah, well, you have to, and that's something you have to learn, that if you have an awakening and you're interacting with this stuff, there are a small percent that are negative, that don't want you to awaken. And I noticed that's when they really, try to come into my life, was when I was having my awakening. And you send them, you tell them no, if you don't want them to, say abduct you, or you don't want that experiences. I mean, you really have to stand your ground with them.
Mhm.
You have to, say no, you do not have my permission. I don't want contact with you. Um, call upon your beings that you believe are, your protectors, and say that, you don't want this contact. Send these beings love and light, and they won't be around you. But if you have curiosity about them, the negative ones, or if you're giving them that attention or that, gateway, you're going to continue to have those experiences. Um, and for me, I had it was 7 years of my life that it was negative, with a negative attachment, energetic attachment.
Because like attracts like. You're attracted to the lower vibration because you were vibrating at the lower frequency. And
Yeah,
that's the thing that you chose to have.
yeah. It's unfortunate that at the time, that's what, had a lot of alcohol issues and stuff like that. So I mean, it was perfect conditions to have a being like that come into my life and attach to me.
And when
Uh,
you're not awake and not aware, you feel like this is a part of you. And now you're fully aware, you're fully awake. You know that back then, you just allow that to happen because you did not know. When you didn't know what you didn't know, what could you do, right? You thought it was just a part of life, that it is part of life. You get to experience, you get to learn, you get to grow, survive, thrive through it, and evolve through it. And right now, you are such an evolved soul. You no longer have to go back and re-experience anything negatively anymore because you know better now. And this is why it is important for people to learn from you that all those too shall pass, because the choice through free will that we get to choose, once we let go of the all, I would say, energetic attach with the low vibration that we the one who created it, right? We can just clean up, clean out, and say no more. And when you find a love within your heart and you love others so passionately, unconditionally, you get to experience the opposite, the one that you've been talking about today. The beings who wanted to have relationship with you, but they couldn't because your vibration just too low to have to be in alignment with their high vibration. And now you raise the vibration, you learn this is not what you want. You don't want to be that way anymore, and you want to look within and to find the real you, the truth you. And ever since you have found it, of course, there's a new vibrational match, and you've been enjoying it, and so much more to come. We would like the audience to understand that we are so powerful. We are the creator of our own reality, and like attracts like. You want to have beautiful life experiences, you know that you have help, you have to allow help to come in, to filter in. Just like for him, once he found out, what kind of help he has, the first thing he asked for, okay, upgrade my eyes, and all things are possible, right? And I'm sure that there's so much more you can ask for, because ask and you shall receive. They cannot just impose to you, we want you to have this, we want you to have that. So when you are ready to ask for the next step, what would you like to ask for?
uh, so there's a lot of things that I've been thinking about.
That be
I'll share one that I asked them last night. Uh, I was asking them, what is their understanding of consciousness as far as for human incarnation on Earth. And I was told that, because it was I was asking about, is it our mind, the brain, that is consciousness, or what could they explain it to me? The way they explained it to me, that the mind can feel consciousness, but consciousness is, universal. That it's, we're all connected through consciousness. but there's just the mind allows us, and say other animals and stuff, to feel consciousness in a physical incarnation. um I think the one thing, because you're right, Patty, you have to ask the questions. If you don't ask, they don't bother your free will, you know and you don't even have to ask. Sometimes if you're thinking about it, and it's something that your higher self wants to show you, then they'll bring it into your life. uh a lot of people, they want to, like, times and dates of when things are happening. Generally avoid that stuff, because
It's too restrictive.
it's, well, time's an illusion. So I don't like. I just like to be in the experience,
Mhm,
and I trust in the universe. So it's all going to play out the way it should.
mhm.
But I do. I've been at. I want to understand that. Is there a way to have individuals be able to? Because I've had experiences with others where they could see it too. Um, and oftentimes we know other experiencers. Is you feel the vibration of it. So a lot of times, I've been asking, my beings, that if they are comfortable with me, having people who want and who come to me and ask me to have experiences, or try to do what they call C5, or where we contact them, if they would be okay to show them, to these individuals. And they told me yes. They they allowed me to capture them and that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not. I just don't. I'm not special in that way. I'm not a photographer or nothing like that. Um, they allow me to, so that way I can share.
Mhm. One thing before we end this chat, this interview, would you ask them for us next time, if we could be their voice, what would they want us to say to humanity?
Well, I've asked this question before,
What
uh,
did they
uh,
say?
and I'm always told that love is all you need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes a very long way.
Yep.
But
Okay.
I'll be happy to ask them again, Patty.
Yes, thank you. How about, other than love is all we need, what is secondary to what we need?
We'll try that. Okay.
Yeah, that would be fun. Anything else you want to share with us before we end this interview?
Yeah. To people that come across this, and they're going through their awakening, you're not alone. There are millions of people that are having these experiences. There are some people who have pushed through the ontological shock of it, like myself and others. And your experiences do change. I notice in a lot of people that it goes is very negative in the beginning, and then it turns into a very positive thing. And
Fear, just no fear.
there's a few organizations that provided me help, that are definitely there for experiencers, and that would be MUFON Experiencer Resource Team. If you go to their website and do a questionnaire, you know you'll probably have somebody reach out to you and provide you support. And also Opus, it's the Organization for Paranormal Understanding and Support. These two organizations, they are here for experiencers, to help you in the beginning, to help. I've worked with the same people for years now in these groups and organizations, and they volunteer. They don't get paid money for this. One woman that I've spoke to for years has spent countless and countless hours supporting me. So there is, there are people out here that you can reach out for help. You don't have to be alone in it.
Well said. Thank you so much. What message would you like to leave to the audience? Something that closest to your heart that you like to share before we end this?
That we all get there. That we all come from source, and that we all get there.
And just remember, love is all.
Love is all.
Yes. Thank you so much. We love and appreciate you. Please come.
Thank you for having me, Patty.
Please come back again and share your wonderful experiences. I'm sure that people would love to hear more and learn more from you. Thank you.